You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Okay, welcome to the Village of Wapner Falls monthly regular meeting of the Mayor and the Village Board of Trustees. Today's Wednesday, February 12th. May you please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Wesley Sutton passed away peacefully on January 12th this year. Besides his military service, Wes was a licensed member of S.W. Johnson Fire Company and a member of the American Legion Post 427 here in the village. He was a long-term village resident. Thank you.
Yeah, under recognition.
Coincidentally, some of you may recall we have a park down by the boathouse, and it's called Sergeant Eugene Darrigan Park. Eugene Darrigan was shot down in World War II in the Pacific, and his remains were found. All those years later, they were found recently. So we'll probably have an event in the nicer weather down there recognizing him again for
Hopefully we'll
what
be
he did.
putting up a flagpole.
We'll do a flagpole recognition down there at the same time. He was a pilot and he got shot down. Well, he was actually a gunner and he got shot down. Okay, roll call. Mayor Huber.
Present.
Trustee Nicholas.
Here.
Trustee Tilisack.
Here.
Trustee Mosh.
Here.
Trustee Marshall.
Here.
Trustee Ruffin. Absent. Trustee Smith.
Here.
Village Attorney Lindars.
Here.
Action on minutes. Regular village board meeting, January 8th, 25.
Get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? Or second? Who's second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Jeff, Walt.
Authorization to pay bills as approved warrant.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
We have a public hearing that's been open for a while now on the changes for the code. And it's still open to the public. The comments were received from the county. The power to be are going over those comments. And did you want to comment on that, Attorney Lindars?
So we are going to open the public hearing for anyone who has comments on the local law. We'll keep the public hearing open till the next meeting. And I will be relaying an amendment to that local law based on the county's comments. County made a couple comments to which we're going to address them. They have been addressed. There's a new draft as well, so that will be relayed on the desk. We will do a new public notice. I'll make a motion at the end of this to publish a new notice for the next meeting. And we'll post the new draft on the website and on the clerk's signboard and all the appropriate places. And we'll continue the public hearing at next meeting, at which time it is the intent to adopt that local law.
Can I ask a few pointed questions?
That's a public hearing.
Adam Lauricella, 2722 West Main Street. I just wanted to ask what the comments were for the county.
It'll be on the new amended version that you'll see. It'll be posted. It'll
So
be
you
posted.
can't, you can't discuss what the county,
I'm not going to go through every single one of their comments.
well, you said there was two. You just said there was two.
No, there was multiple
You had to
comments.
address.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've spoken to 8 or 5 of the 8 people up here. Several of them already, obviously incorrectly thought that they didn't know that they didn't vote on this. But then I was told that this was going to be worked on and we would be here. So I'm just curious why. I understand that the answer usually by someone up here will be, well, the gears of government work slow and then there's some kind of snicker or something. But I'm just curious.
So by law, that law needs to be referred to the county and to
Yeah, no, I understand. And it was sent, and then it wasn't, the correct documents weren't sent.
well, the correct documents were sent.
I have the email chain that says that they didn't
So-
get the correct documents emailed.
No, they requested that it be emailed as well as the on-ramp system. That's what that was.
Yeah, but the ramp was incorrect. It was what the email chain that I have from the county is. Well, maybe they lied.
That
So,
was not my understanding.
okay,
But-
that's fine.
But in any event, they provided comments
Mm-hmm.
only recently, and those comments have been addressed. Which it'll be published, you'll see it. It'll be on the website.
All right. So, so we understand that what you just said last time is that next meeting, does that mean on the 1st or our next meeting, meaning the last meeting of this month?
We got the next meeting, the last Wednesday of the month will be the 26th. Yeah, 26th of this month.
So
We have enough,
and that's enough time?
Yeah. Yeah.
if that's enough time.
Try it again next year.
Or next? Yeah, maybe next year. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments on the public hearing? So we're going to keep this public hearing open.
And adjourn till, what was that date?
26th.
26th, February 26th,
February 26th.
Yeah.
7 o'clock,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
So I'll publish another public hearing for the 26th.
And for our purposes here today, I am laying of each councilman, trustee,
Hey, Charlie?
and it'll be emailed to John as well, so we can publish it, okay?
Yep. Anyone do the resolution?
You want me to go on?
Yeah, go on the resolution.
Okay. Resolution 425 of 2025, resolution adopting a neg deck declaration with respect to local law number 1 of 2025, formerly introduced as local law number 4 of 2024, a local law to amend chapter 151 of the village code entitled zoning, together with an EAF parts 1, 2, and 3, negative declaration, and ENB notice. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 525 of 2025. A resolution introducing local law of 2025, creating a chapter called littering, together with the notice of public hearing and a local law. So I need to have a date for that public hearing.
Want to do the 26th of February? That'd be enough time?
Yeah.
The same date as we had on the other.
Yeah.
packet. So that's
Okay, I'll post that.
No, February,
Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
next meeting,
I'll second it.
Wednesday.
no, we're gonna need longer time. now.
More time?
Yeah. What's today's date? Do it on March 12th meeting. March 12th. Yeah.
The other one too? What about that other one?
I thought we were doing March 12th on all of them,
All right. Correction, March 12th.
Both of them now?
on both of them.
March 12th or is it the 26th?
March 12th. It's not the 26th now. Resolution 725 of 2025, adopting a Village of Wappingers Falls procurement policy. The general municipal law requires all municipalities and districts therein to adopt procurement policies for goods and services which are not required by law to be publicly bid. This policy sets forth standard procedures for ordering and purchasing services and supplies in the Village of Wappingers Falls. There's no hearing required for that. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Discussion.
Point of order on, there is a resolution, there's two resolutions introducing local laws. We did the first littering, there was a second one, which we skipped.
Loitering.
Oh, did I skip over loitering?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Resolution 625 of 2025, resolution introducing a local law creating a chapter loitering, together with a notice of public hearing in local law. Is that date 3/12?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay. That's it for the resolutions.
All right.
You want to introduce the next speaker, Mayor? Discussion about baseball fields, vets field?
We have Matt here tonight. He would like to put in a ballpark in Vets Park and start a baseball league.
How you doing, everybody? It's like Mr. The mayor said, I'm Matt Santos. Thank you for having us here. It's my wife, Dana Santos. I started a youth baseball league, or team, last year. It went very successful. One team turned into 3 teams in the town of Wappingers is where we started. We're looking to continue to expand and to, help grow within a community. And we think the village would be a great place to do it for multiple reasons. The first reason is there isn't youth sports here. I grew up in Wappingers. There was a field there at one point. We used to practice on it, down by the water, by the boathouse down there as well, and behind St. Mary's. So I'm familiar with what used to be here at once upon a time and now is not here at all. So as we continue to grow our teams, we're looking for a home to do so. My motivation and the reason why I'm so strong with it is I have 3 kids. I have an 11-year-old, a 6-year-old, and my daughter is 3. I'm not sure you heard about her yet, but they're very into sports. And the youth sports program, not just here, just across the board, has turned into a money industry. And I played college baseball. I don't want
anybody paying for youth sports. It should be just recreational stuff, and we're looking for a home to do that. That being said, I think, Mr. Mayor, I handed you all that literature. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at it.
I handed it off to the village attorney.
We started a nonprofit organization where, we're a nonprofit, so we would be looking to do a lot of fundraising and be looking for some sort of help from you guys in some small shape or form. My wife and I own a construction company together, so we can cut down on some of the labor force of it. The fencing, we had one quote. Obviously, I understand, talking to Jeff, that there needs to be multiple quotes, but just to get an idea of a foundation, what we're looking at. My company would take care of things within the fence area, but on the outside, the fence is a lot of linear feet. The fence is, what was the number?
We got a quote in between $60,000 and $70,000. We can probably get that down on different things, but that was the first
That's the
quote.
base. But yeah, like she said, there might be, we'll get other quotes, obviously. To do inside that fence area, you're looking at, without me putting my labor in, just to get a full idea, is about $60,000 to do the field. That number, we would take care of. The organization, the nonprofit that we did, we're doing fundraiser, and we're starting to grow money. Obviously, we don't have $60,000 just sitting around, but I'll go into that one sec. We did file for a grant as well. Maybe you want to speak on that? So you know a little more
Yeah,
about it?
and we just, recreation grant from New York State. We've applied, I know it probably takes time, but we've started the process, and I'm looking to talk with someone in that field more. The things that we're doing in order to help raise funds in addition to team fundraising and things like that.
Yeah, the fence part, that's the back.
Yeah, so it would be,
Down the line.
yeah, it would be the backstop code, I believe, I just talked to the fence company, is regulation is 25 feet high, and it's got a slope to it. It sits about 12 feet behind home plate, and then off of that, you have a dugout, which we would build, my construction company would build that. And then the fence goes up to that dugout, and then from the dugout out around to the outfield. It's from home plate all the way around, from foul pole all the way around, it's 200 feet is youth baseball between 7 to 12 years old. The 7, 8, always between 7 to 10 years old plays 60-40. So the bases are one size, and then 11 and 12 is 50-70. The way I would design and build the field, you can adjust the bases and the pitcher's mound so you can have accomplish all the ages. It's something that I didn't know that would go as well as it did. We're very involved with the high school, coming down to work with my kids. I have a good relationship with the coach there. He was the coach when I played high school. They were in our practice last night. You would think that the Yankees are coming to our practices in high school.
Are there going to be bleachers, or is that an add-on later on, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that, wants that we need. Obviously, the needs are to play a game is we need a field.
Yeah, yep.
Bleachers, dugouts, batting cages, absolutely. We want all of it, but we have to, we have to be budgeted for all those things.
That's a shame. That was all there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it was only at 160. We would have had those.
Yeah, still.
Any other questions?
Kelly?
Now, you're gonna build 2 dugouts or 1?
2 dugouts.
Dugouts.
Yes.
And you're saying you have 3 teams, so these 3 teams are gonna play one another?
No, they're separate all ages. So I have an 8U, which is my younger son, plays on. There's a 9U that I do not coach that team, another coach does, and I coach an 11U. We all play different age brackets. So if we were granted this field, we would have to do scheduling.
So other teams would come?
They
and
would
play
come.
against
So
them.
we play, which is real big in the area. It's called the Greater Hudson Valley. league. And it's for every age bracket, and it's a tryout team. You have to. It's a competitive league. But you rate your team as a coach. They have different divisions. So if you have a beginner team, you can play at a lower division, and a team that's been together and established a little bit. You as a coach make that decision between, I think it's 1 and 4, between skill level.
Now, you're saying this is open to the Hudson Valley, or like town of Wappingers, village of Wappingers? What
We would play for the village. We would represent the village. We would hold tryouts for village representative according to their age bracket. We would have several tryouts throughout the year. My goal is to have a tryout spring, summer, and fall. They're all 3 of those are separate seasons.
Yes.
So we will continue to get the word out there. When I played Pop Warner football in the village, you know, a lot of these kids used to walk to Pop Warner football. It was pretty amazing to see. And I think there's a lot of youth kids in the area that would come out of the woodwork to maybe to join our team. We'd love to have them. You know, just the logistics of it.
Now, who's responsible for anything happens, liability?
So each team, you cannot hold a team unless you are insured. So each individual team holds an insurance policy. You have to register a team in the greater Hudson Valley. And then I would have to work out stuff logistic-wise with you guys as well. I provided, I think, you guys a proof of insurance. Did you provided that,
I
right?
think so.
Yes.
You get that again?
I don't know if I got proof of the insurance, just indication that they had it.
You can't register a team without insurance. They won't allow you to.
Right, okay, so the teams are insured.
Right.
Right, so if they get hurt on the field, which is the village field,
We are
is
insured.
still
No, you're
liable for it?
no. That's something that I will have to talk with the lawyers about. I don't want to speak to something that's above me. So yes, I'll talk to the lawyers and sort all that out.
Just one question.
Yes.
It's gonna be like a public field, like anyone, if there's not an event being held there, a game held there, like a couple 5th graders can go down there and.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. The biggest thing is that we do have 3 teams, just as someone asked, we're going to be
Right.
playing on the field. So if we don't have practices or games,
Go for it.
absolutely, yeah.
So that, I guess that piggybacks off that. I know you have to talk with the lawyer and everything. If it's not insured by a team and some kid sprains his ankle on the,
Right.
that's just what my head's at. I don't,
Just,
I think it's a great idea. I just want.
I just want to be clear that it is insured, and I will make sure 100% that obviously the town is not going to let me, the lawyers aren't going to let us play with that. It will be 100% insured.
Perfect.
Where do the kids get the uniforms from?
We have a local vendor that we use now. It's called In the Thread to use now, but
Do you pay for them or the kids?
the kids play for them. There's things that we could do to fundraise for that. We do a ton of fundraising. Give you an example, something we recently did, Buffalo Wild Wings right here in Wappingers. Or anybody that came, a percentage went back towards the team. And it was pretty successful. My goal is every team that I have is we nominate one person for fundraising, and we try to set a monthly and a yearly goal, and to help out as much as we can with the cost.
Plus you would get sponsors, say,
Absolutely.
yeah, some gas station or car wash, day rides, you know, everybody.
I've had some brief conversations with a few people. It so happens I was having lunch the other day at one of the parties. I've known Claudio since I was a little kid. They were their pizza place. Love the idea. Some people like that. I'm going to go after as many and promoting, not just, I'm not looking to just take money from them. We could do a lot of things to help the local businesses. My kids particularly love, the Fairview County Fair. We go there at least once every other month. I would love to help the local businesses 100%.
Now, the 3 teams you have, do they each have a sponsor or how does that work?
Go ahead.
So,
Yes.
just to interrupt, because I think there's some things with, some of the pricing and stuff. So we still have registration fees because we pay to be part of the Greater Hudson Valley. And then we have to pay umpires and stuff for games. So there is, but it's minimal. And so when we say we don't want to be part of a pay-to-play organization, we're still taking registration, but that's going strictly out. You know, it's not coming in our pockets. It's going right to the umpires, right to the field fees that we pay, right to Greater Hudson Valley. You know, kids are required to buy the uniform, a hat, a shirt, provide camp seats and that thing, you know, but they're not going out and doing this every season, you know, unless they'll throw it or rip it or something like that. But the fees now compared to what other organizations, when we say pay to play, coaches are getting paid. Coaches, you know, they're taking thousands of dollars as like a league fee and putting it in their pockets for, you know, their organizations to grow. So when we say, you know, it's a nonprofit, we truly want to put everything back into the organization. So I don't want Matt coming across saying that there's no fees for any kid that's joining, but it's minimal. It's a town fee. That's what you're going to pay if you go, you know, play in a rec league for any town team.
How much would the registration
So
be?
last every season, our teams have paid around $350 and then a one-time $100 fee of uniforms. But that was the first year. We didn't have the opportunity to fundraise. So like this year, we've already done 2 Super Bowl pools. We did the Buffalo Wild Wings. We're doing some other things locally. So those fees should come down, and it shouldn't be that amount of money per season because it's the spring, summer, and fall season, and then winter workouts. So the whole point is to really make it cost effective. That, you know, if you go anywhere else, you're going to be paying. Kids are paying thousands of dollars to play sports, which is highly ridiculous and not fair.
Now, you said that there were, for the enrollment local, was there any boundaries that you set? So in other words, if you're a resident of the city of Poughkeepsie or
So
Fishkill, is there some
that
program
was
where you have a boundary?
the one point, you know, when we started the Wappingers program, we tried to get as many Wappingers kids as we possibly could, but the rec program isn't strong anymore. So we pulled kids from East Fishkill. We have the Poughkeepsie kids, and that's allowed us to grow as an organization. And we would love more Wappingers kids. It just, there wasn't a turnout at tryouts. So we took what we could and built something, and that, you know. But if there happened to be 12 Village of Wappingers kids that wanted to play and knew how to play, maybe we could start a second team. You know, there's room. There's not, you know, we don't want to turn anybody, especially locally, away. And that's the point of it.
The last thing I just want to say, I don't want to hold all you up for too much time, is I'm not looking, if we get a big turnout when we have.
There's one question.
Sorry, there's one question in the back.
Yeah, my name's Charles Ferry. I'm actually the chairperson of the Parks.
Okay.
This really, the way things go in the village, should have went to the Parks Committee first and then before the board, but it didn't go that way. But I do have some concerns. It sounds like you're a regional team and not, it wouldn't be a village team.
So just as my wife was just saying, we
Yeah,
wanted to, when we started in Wappingers, we only had a
I think
handful come out.
it's a regional team, not a local team. That's it.
I want to grow, it's,
But it is a regional team and not a village team. That's all I'm asking.
yes, it is, yes.
So, the board, do you know what the concerns of the village are? Do you know that there's a need for village youth for a baseball field?
What you brought this in for discussion tonight?
Okay, well, because it sounds like it's moving forward, and it hasn't come before the Parks Committee, but when I see that field used down there, I see people playing volleyball, that field is packed during the week, packed, because it's one of the few fields we have left. So all these people that live in the village, they got that one field to go, it's packed. And to limit it, I'm not saying not to do it, but you really have to question whether you want to limit the large piece of our park to one sport that's a regional, that's used for regional use. What, in the times that it's not being used as a ball field, could it be used as a soccer field or a volleyball field?
Here, Charlie, not to get off track. We've also, this is the first time they're coming. We have discussed with Tilachak, is if we could get somebody to line us next to the highway department and use that for soccer.
Right, no, I understand, I brought that up myself, Roger.
Yeah, okay,
I'm just bringing up,
okay.
because we're discussing a potential field, and I want to bring up my feelings as the chairperson of the Parks Committee. I think it needs to be addressed before anything goes to lawyers and looked at. I think we need to work these things out as far as what's the benefit of this to the village We don't have that many youth fields, open spaces, and we're gonna give a large portion of that to a regional team who's gonna use it a lot of times to have these games. I think there has to be a lot of consideration in there for what our youth need and what we're taking away from the community to do this. I think it's a great idea. I don't know that we necessarily have the space to do it. I know people want a baseball field, but what are we gonna give up together?
So, I'm not looking to steal anything away or anything like that. So, well, I'm not saying politics, I used the wrong words. There's things that we can do too. I have a lot of ideas. This is the first one of them, just to go, just to help enlighten you. Down by the water there, by the boathouse, is another option as well. And just an idea here, I would like to throw it out because you brought it up with youth sports locally. A lot of the local sports here, okay, my kids play soccer as well, they go out and pay money out of the towns that we all live in to pay money to use, especially this time of year. That boathouse that's there right now could make a ton of money with baseball, soccer, football, locally, because I know for a fact, because I work with the high school, we rent facilities all over the place. You put up a net right now, I'm just gonna give you an idea of just with a high school and what my kids play right now at an indoor facility. Per kid, just because it's indoor, it's $2,000 per kid for the winter. How much?
It's 4,000 for the whole team.
4,000 for the whole team.
Whole team.
That's why she's here. Right? $4,000 for the whole team, that's a lot of money. My point being is, you could be doing a lot with, I know there's small areas, I get you, I do, because I walk around.
I
and
agree
look at
with what that up. There could be a volleyball field down there, there could be a youth soccer field.
My point is there's other places, if it's managed correctly and done correctly and scheduled through the village, to interfere as least as possible with, the day-to-day.
And I know that there used to be or has been camps there down at Veterans Field in the past, like, we're not looking to say kids can't go on it during the day, like, that's fully for the camp.
You work
and all
at
that.
So how often, I mean, I don't want to sound as if it's, I'd really like you to come before the Parks Committee and talk to us, and we can ask these questions for the committee, and then make a recommendation to the board. But how often would you be occupying that field? Every night of the week, pretty much, or?
We would have to make a schedule. No, it would not be every single
So
night.
is the potential for the village to rent it out to other teams?
To rent it out to other teams, that would be up to you guys, but to me, that would be, worried me for one of the reasons why other teams, because what happens is when we're playing at certain fields now, I would have no problem, I can't get onto the field if it was a youth, local village team. The problem is I can't get onto the field because there's a team from East Fishkill or Westchester or wherever that is renting the field here.
That's kind of my point with it not being village people. That's
Well, why-
kind of the point that I'm making, is that we can't get onto the field because it's a regional baseball team now.
When you,
See, that was a baseball field?
I know it was.
All my life.
This is, and just speaking from a mom's perspective, this is the problem everywhere, like,
well, I guess
We
why couldn't
have-
it be a village team? I guess.
yeah, but it's, these pay-to-play are taking over, we're trying to keep kids in the community in this, like, we're not, I understand we have kids from Poughkeepsie, but that's how we field a team. It's not because we don't want Wappingers kids, we had to get.
But
into
there's
our
tryouts
stuff.
also, right?
There's
tryouts in between. So
but-
it's not like if Wabacher's kids show up and play. They need to compete probably against kids who are in communities with much more
No,
vibrant.
no,
vibrant
because if you
programs.
got 9 kids that were all in one level, I can put them in that level, 100%. If you take a team now that's been together for several years and they don't make that team, we could still have a second team and they could play on the team and play on that level. 100%. So when you say it's a regional team, it could be 100% village. It just goes by how many people try. You want to be?
Let's call it.
You've built other fields in the area, is that correct?
I have.
Any success?
Very much. We built one in East Fishkill and it went very well.
So this is not your first time building a field?
It is not. It's not.
If only 5 kids from the village of Wappinger showed up, would you have no choice but to open up enrollment to kids from outside the village?
100%.
Which would then allow those 5 kids to play on a team.
The village kids?
Yes.
Without opening it, they might not get to play,
Yes.
because there's not 12, 15, 18 kids.
Correct.
See, the one problem we used to have, because Mr. Camargo was the president, I was the vice president, is our kids were all like that. So we used to play each other. Then when we went to play the town, they were 5 foot. And we got behindhanded every year, and the kids got tired of it. So we should have opened it up to,
But your kids went to Poughkeepsie, right?
no,
No, but do some of your relatives play in Poughkeepsie because there's nothing?
no,
No?
my relatives were all here.
No, but I mean now.
No,
That is a problem now. There is people that live in this
my
village that.
relatives are, oh yeah.
My son plays in Beacon.
Yeah, there's no place to play here, so there are people that
We
are
take
here
our
have
son
to
to
go to
Beacon.
other towns.
Those
Now,
Poughkeepsie.
I'm familiar with Little League.
Okay,
So Little League sponsors, they pay for the uniform with their name on it.
sure.
That's not what you're talking about here. This is a regional team with your, well, with whatever name,
We would
correct?
be looking to have banners in the outfield to
Oh, okay.
put up for the
Okay,
team, you
right.
know. If
Gotcha.
we're hosting,
Yeah.
this is getting bigger, of a tournament or something, you know, pamphlets or
The other-
sponsorships, putting them on our website to show that they're, you know.
The other thing I wanted to ask is that the only other thing that you said that kind of disturbs me a little bit is the tryout aspect of it. And I'm not saying we shouldn't try out, but my dad was very active in Little League where we lived, and one of the things he insisted on was that every kid who tried out got on a team. I don't want these kids walking, walking away all disappointed,
Well, I
you
think
know?
that's the difference, because that's Little League, so it's a rec program, and that's, you know, what a lot of kids should start off playing, you know, T-ball.
Right, yeah,
and
yeah.
move their way up. Kids aren't doing that today.
Right,
You know, kids
right.
are playing maybe T-ball or 1 year rec, and then they're getting picked up by these, you know, bright and shiny
Right,
programs that promise them the world, and it's gonna turn your kid into Derek Jeter.
right,
And
yeah.
they're not gonna be Derek
Right.
Jeter, you know, and
Yeah.
that's not to say that, you know, little Johnny's not gonna be a great baseball player, but he
Yeah.
doesn't have to spend thousands.
Right.
But if there was an opportunity to grow a league, you know, we would be more than willing to step up and say, like, let's start a rec program, but we have to start somewhere,
Right.
and this is the program that we've started.
The biggest
so-
thing is, just like I said before, there's levels,
Right.
1 through 4. So if you have a team that's down here, it doesn't mean that they can't play.
But how does that work with ages?
Every age has that
Oh,
same
okay.
level. So it goes D1 all the way to D4. D1 being like, the most experience, and D4 is intermediate.
Okay.
So if you had a kid that couldn't make the team, but we had 9 kids that were at the same level, you can put them at the level that they would like to make a team.
Is it important to put kids in the same level, like D4 or D2, so they don't get hurt?
100%. If you put a kid on a team that a kid that just you didn't have much of experience, and I just put him on my team that was playing, let's say, at a higher intermediate in the
Right.
middle, can get very hurt.
Yeah.
Very hurt. And it's not just skill level. If you're playing for a lot of years, you're swinging a metal bat, you're throwing a hard ball, there's baseball etiquette, if you will, just learning the times of what's going on. Yeah, so,
All right. Can we hook you up with Charlie, and he can have a meeting with the recreation department? You know,
okay, absolutely.
well, John's been waiting. Then.
It's just a 30-second question. The
Go
infield,
ahead, John.
is it dirt or grass?
I was gonna put a sod infield, so grass, with a sprinkler system. My company's gonna put a sprinkler system in, obviously I have to work that out with the town, or excuse me, with the village. So, and my wife filed for a grant, for AstroTurf. I've never, filed a grant before. I don't know how that exactly works, how long that works, but if you have an AstroTurf field, it costs a lot more money, but the maintenance is there. So when we come off the field and the village wants to go on there, we don't have to drag the field or anything. Anybody can go out there and kick a soccer ball around 100%.
Are there any AstroTurf fields in all Dutchess County?
None.
This would be the first, if
This
it
would be the
happened.
front for youth sports, there's none. So when we go to some of these tournaments, it's unbelievable, what they have.
Did Did you have a question?
Yeah, now, you said you already had tryouts and you didn't have very many from the village. Did you say that?
I didn't have anybody come to any of my tryouts from the village yet.
But we haven't had a tryout yet this year.
This year, but last year I had a tryout, no, I had only a handful of the town Wappingers kids came, and, that's it, so.
And then how do they know? How do you advertise for tryouts?
So in the last tryout, we did a lot of social media, that's kind of like how things are today, but we would do, things through the village when we have, put stuff on the village website, we would do as much. It's beneficial to us as a community to be stronger, to get more kids. So whatever ideas that are there to promote it, I'm all about it. The more kids, the better. The stronger the program will be.
Yeah, so if we can get you to hook up with Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie-
Sure. Okay.
Guy, you gotta-
Charlie has a meeting coming up this month, correct, Charlie?
Yeah, just let me know when. That'd be great.
If
Thank you
I,
for your time.
I could be of any help with that, I would be available.
All right, clerk.
Okay. Need a motion to approve a leave of absence for part-time court clerk Lee Cowan Monday, effective January 13th.
Get a motion?
Motion made.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion to accept the resignation from part-time court clerk Jamie Boldrin, effective January 27th.
Get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approval to hire Miss Stephanie DiMasse as seasonal deputy court clerk.
Get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next three hirings will be moved to executive session.
Yeah, table to executive session. Can I get
Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I second.
If I may, why are we tabling that?
We're not tabling, we're moving it.
We're moving into executive session
All right, so I understand why is it being tabled from the meeting here to go to.
because we have a few questions.
Can we make it public known as to what those questions are?
No, it's a personal question, and you can speak.
Forget the nonsense. Nonsense.
I want to make sure there's enough money in the account.
Well, how is that executive session material? Just to make sure that there's enough money. Why can't we all know that?
Well, because
Because every time it seems like,
We can do it right
I
now.
don't understand.
So I want the board to know, has the board done any information on this of putting 2 police officers through the academy? How much it's gonna cost us for 40 hours a week, now until June, correct, Commissioner?
June 27th.
June 27th.
You're adding officers to the budget that's already in effect. So you have money that's in the budget, you lost a full-time sergeant. There's money in the budget. We desperately need officers. Why is this even a question? I'm sorry, I don't want to do this now, but why is this even a question? We've been asking for officers. Now, and I wanted to get into this later, but I'll get into it now. Dutchess County has approved this agency to exceed the 20-hour weekly rule, up to 1040. So therefore, now you've got 3 officers that are coming on, that are willing to work here. We're a lucky agency that we've got officers that want to come to work. You have officers now that want to come to work. We have the ability, Dutchess County.
We're not debating this.
It needs to be discussed.
Here,
Public safety. My officers, as the vice president of PBA safety, now is being inhibited. Mr. Mayor, you sent a directive to the police commissioner.
I'm not gonna sit there if you ain't gonna let us talk.
I'd like to say, bottom line, it's come down to officer safety and public safety. Why is there even a question of employing 3 officers that want to come to work?
Are you gonna pay for?
But you got 2 of them that's gonna go to a school, correct?
You've got one.
So they're not really officers until July, we'd say, August, after they do their field training in the village, correct? Okay, so the 2 officers that you want to go to school aren't officers yet,
That's correct.
okay? So I wanted to discuss with the board how much it's gonna cost us to have them officers go to school.
Shouldn't that be part of the public comment? Shouldn't that be part out here so the citizens know what's going on?
All right, it's gonna be about,
Let's do that, please, because we as the PBA as the vice president, as a member of this agency for
Talking
over
with the
40
treasurer, it's gonna be
years.
about $92,000 to send both of them to school.
Let's find the money. You just eliminated a position where someone resigned, that money was already in the budget. There you go.
But you've been doing overtime also.
How does she come
We have to do overtime because we can't hire officers. We have 3 officers now that, let's get them employed. Let's find the money.
Can you answer a question?
I will try,
The
sir.
other night, you had Mrs. Williams and Susie on.
Whoa, hey, yeah, again, I'm gonna have to interject here at this point. Excuse me, excuse me.
Mayor, I don't believe that's number.
Excuse
Don't
me,
believe it?
excuse me.
40 hours,
Listen, Jeff, the
25 an
attorneys,
hour.
Jeff, the attorney is speaking.
a time.
Guys, the issues that, this is why this should be moved to an executive session. There are matters in here that are going to implicate individuals. There's some other legal questions that need to be discussed. This is a matter that is appropriate for an executive session.
And again, I'm representing the PBA as a member of this agency. The question over the last 6 months with elimination of shifts, the layoff of police officers, now we have the opportunity to put 1, 2, 3 officers on. They may not be readily available until at least June or July, but that is 3 prospective officers that are willing to come to work. We are a lucky agency that has 3 officers that are willing to come to work for us. Let's get them employed. You also have Dutchess County now that has approved officers to exceed 20 hours in a pay period. Mr. Mayor, you disseminated a directive to the police commissioner establishing that that cannot happen. But Dutchess County is now authorizing to exceed 20 hours in a pay period up to 39 hours, as long as the 1040 is not exceeded. My officers are at risk. It's tiring now to come to work
Well, after
by
a certain
yourself.
point, if they work over 30 hours for a whole year, after a certain point, after 30 hours, they're also entitled for medical insurance.
Well, the medical insurance issue is a separate sidebar.
Yeah, but they could fight for it.
Okay, but we
Again,
have
guys,
officers that
again.
want to come to work. Let's employ them. Let's give the opportunity to officer safety. So when my officers, as a member of PBA, they come to work, they are not here by themselves. They are not here by themselves. We just had a call tonight with one of our officers, respond to a call with a man with a chair leg with nails stuck through it at a local business. One of our officers was off duty, responded with him. The situation was quelled and it was rectified. However, that initial dispatch could have gone ugly if that officer was by himself. Come on, let's think about this.
And-
Backup from the sheriff's estate.
And I am not going to, with a watch, question other agencies that either traverse through here, work through here, or work in this region. You cannot count on that happening every day. If they are tied up something else, if they are tied somewhere else, your backup could be coming from a mile away, 10 miles away. We need to support our own officers.
When you guys were off at midnight, I had an incident on my street.
Look, we're not here to debate.
Yeah.
We're here to
No,
talk.
And I'm not here to discuss that. I'm sorry, Mr. Trustee, but bottom line is, my question is, please present it to the public as to why this has to go to executive session.
I
Let these
just
people know.
explained it to you.
Then find the money. You have a person that resigned from this job that had an exceptional income. That money is there in the budget till the 1st of June.
And the
Let's put
point,
these officers through the academy and let's get them on the street where they belong.
and the point is taken, thank you. The board will
Thank
take it under advisement, and they should move these matters to an executive session.
Thank you.
Okay, motion to hire Jennifer Beaufort as full-time secretary to the planning board
Did we actually table that motion?
We did table it.
They were tabled? Okay.
to fulfill a vacancy. Can I have a motion?
Who's this for, John?
Yeah.
What was this?
I make the motion.
Planning board.
Oh,
Is there a
I'll make
second?
it- I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approval 30-day advance notice for a business at 2703 West Main Street, formerly The Hog. New application, temporary retail permit.
You know what that is?
Yep,
The permit?
yep. Brian is okay with that request.
What are they doing there? You know?
Oh, no, we don't know. It's pending. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, board, I'd like to draw your attention to page 61 of your handout. page 61. Okay. The Wappinger Central School District are proposing a capital project at the junior high. They want to expand it so they can have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade there. Because we are a neighboring community and we are an interested party, like the town of Wappinger and New York State DOT, they would like the board to allow the mayor to sign off, allowing them, Wappinger Central School District, to be the lead agency on this project. That's a seeker requirement.
You get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Mayor, I'll have you sign that tomorrow.
Got it.
I'd like to draw your attention to page 63. Approval of waiver for grease interceptor at 2703 West Main Street, Village of Wappingers Falls. According to our engineer, Todd Atkinson, who sent us a letter, which is on page 64, he is recommending that the board conditionally approve the project based on meeting the requirements in the comment letter. This is not unlike any of the others that we've approved in the past. So based on our village engineer's letter, can I have a motion to grant the waiver conditionally on the items that he wrote in his letter?
I'll make the motion to do it as long as he follows the letter as it was written.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'd like to draw your attention to page 65. There's a proposal, and Trustee Chelicek can talk about this, for Art in the Park Day, Saturday, May 17th, 2025, rain date May 18th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the heart of the Village of Wappingers Falls. Trustee Chelicek.
Yes, just a minor correction. This is not Art in the Park, which is done by the school district. This is Art in the Village, which we've had the past several years. Numerous artists set up around the village, have music, have art, have dance, things of that nature. To improve the culture of the village, if you will.
I put some handouts over there before. If you had them, you'll be able to see some of that art that they want to work on.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? I mean, we have to double check, but I see a couple new art banners that would be on the
Sorry?
buildings here. We should double check with Brian, please.
About the art banners?
Yes.
Yes. I will speak to him.
Excuse me, I just have one question. Can we go back to that WAP Junior thing really quick? Is that adding an addition onto the building, or is that?
Yeah, they're
They're
doing a major.
completely- Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
While we're still on that, I suggest that we meet before you sign that.
All right.
Curious as to what kind of effect an addition to the building would be on the water and sewer and drainage.
Actually, it's an old
And
building
traffic.
too.
We can reach out to Dr. Bunk tomorrow. I'll give you a call when they come in.
Well, why don't you, Mayor, let me coordinate that? I have more details on this.
Yeah, that'd be great. If somebody has some sort of plan, curious how much water they're gonna use.
Well, this is a secret process right now. There are going to be a lot of planning board meetings to discuss all of that. Stop by my office tomorrow, if you don't mind. Okay,
John?
Is the town of Wappinger going to be involved with that too?
yes,
Okay.
yes. They are also named as an interested party. Joey would also have to sign off on it. Okay. Motion to remove the first floor alarm plans, alarms from the plans to relocate them in the basement of the police station, 2628 South Avenue. The funds would be provided by the grant. Evidently, there aren't any alarms in the basement, but they had an abundant amount up on the other floor, so they can relocate two to the basement, and that's a good thing.
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
On Monday, I have two correspondence from the police, or the fire departments. On Monday, February 3rd, 2025, at the regular monthly meeting, the company membership accepted a resignation from firefighter Christopher Viskuskas. Can I have a motion to accept that correspondence?
I'll make the motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
S.W. Johnson reported at their meeting this past Monday night, Preston Bass is no longer a member of their fire company.
Get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Monthly updates, police.
Okay. Well, the police have been busy, but we have improvements in what they've been doing. So our total number of calls for the month of January was 229.
Bye, Angela.
Of that, there was 10 arrests. Here, are you ready for this number? 88 traffic tickets, 37 parking tickets, 3 larcenies, 3 drug complaints. However, people don't know how to drive. We had 20 motor vehicle accidents, 2 motorist assists, 12 domestic disputes, 7 burglar or hold-up alarms, 29 medical calls, 5 fire calls. There was other criminal investigations, there's a number of 10. There was 6 other disputes or fights. No use of force incidents. 5 properties lost or found. 10 calls to assist another agency. Now, the calls by the tour, A is 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's 12 a.m. Yeah, to 8 a.m. is 49. The B was 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. was 108. And then C line, 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. was 72. Traffic tickets by the tour. The A line, again, 12 a.m. to 8 a.m., 40. The B line, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 28. 20 for the C line from 4 to 12. Also, there's been an announcement at the bottom. To receive text alerts about special events and other important announcements, please text 12590, which is our zip code, to 888-777. And also, as a reminder to the public about the new snow emergency ordinance, no vehicles are to be parked on the village roads. If the National Weather Service issues a winter storm advisory, vehicles left on any street are subject to ticketing and towing. Police Commissioner Fisher, do you have anything additional to add to this?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to update the board and the community on a couple of things. The flock update, which is the stationary camera systems, which are going to be installed in the village. They have them marked out, and they should be getting installed within the next about 2 weeks. The Motorola, which is the LPR systems for the cars, and the in-car video systems. I received those boxes actually yesterday and today. Some came in. I'm waiting on one more box. They should be getting installed, hopefully also in the next couple of weeks. Wanted to touch on one case arrest which was made. I think it's important to acknowledge some of these things, and it was a very good arrest. And I want to just take a minute to acknowledge that officer, if you indulge me, please. So on January 28th, Officer Gastino of the Village of Wappingers Police Department conducted a traffic stop for a violation of New York State vehicle and traffic laws. During the stop, Officer Gastino investigated. His investigation led to a probable cause to search the vehicle, which ultimately resulted in the arrest of the driver, who was a Village of Wappingers resident. During the search, the defendant was found to be in possession of approximately 4 grams of crack cocaine and 4 grams of fentanyl. As a result, the individual was charged with 2 counts of criminal possession of a controlled substance, both C felonies. Just to put it in a little perspective about the dangers of fentanyl, 4 grams of fentanyl is enough to kill approximately 2,000 people. Right? So for those who aren't familiar with it, it's a synthetic opioid with 50 times more potency than heroin. And it is right now currently the leading cause of all overdoses in the nation. So Officer Agostino's actions reaffirm the importance of having a 24-hour, 7 days a week proactive police department, and highlights the department's unwavering commitment to keep dangerous narcotics off the street of our community. His keen observations and thorough investigation helped to prevent this deadly substance from reaching our residents, our families, and most important, our children. I want to personally commend Officer Agostino for his diligence, dedication, and I also want to take this opportunity to remind any residents to remain vigilant and to report any suspicious activity. By working together, we can continue to protect our community and ensure the safety of all those who call Wappinger Falls their home.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah.
Finance will be discussed in executive session. Highway, trustee Tilisak.
All right, I'll cover for John tonight. He's got other things to talk about as well. All right, so Sean couldn't make it tonight. However, what he gave us is an outline of what has been happening. The money received from Gov Deals auction for the 2003 case backhoe is $23,701. And there's a new numbering system for the highway vehicle fleet. This is to be used to simplify the identification of each vehicle and used for tracking expenses on parts and repairs for each vehicle. The new snow ordinance is in effect, although during these storms, the streets are still full of residents' vehicles, creating difficult obstacles for the Department of Public Workers as they clear and maintain the roads. And many residents and businesses are also shoveling, plowing, and blowing snow into the village streets, even after the streets are clear, hours or the next day after the storm is complete. The snow ordinance signs are now posted around the entire village, especially the main roads and entrances to the village. 12 new signs total are posted. They've been posted all over. I think everybody's seen these driving in and out of the village. I don't think you need me to go through every list here where they are. They are quite obvious. On January 27th, 2025, Village Police Department was notified about graffiti tagged along East and West Main Streets, including Market Street. There was graffiti on private dwellings, including village street signs, telephone poles, and fences. DPW workers were able to either cover up with paint or remove graffiti on village property and telephone poles. Fleet maintenance, all maintenance and repairs is done in-house. Again, this is a big money-saving thing for us by the DPW workers. All maintenance from greasing to changing fluids and oil. Repairs from minor repairs to fabricating parts. The fleet is cleaned after every inclement weather event. New lighting was mounted on truck 1, the oldest truck in the fleet. New batteries were installed in the backhoe due to age. Truck 5 was having issues with the sander that was diagnosed and repaired in-house. Truck 8 is back at Hudson River Truck and Trailer getting a lift gate installed and new plow repaired. Possible hydraulic issue with that. Not only is the extensive maintenance and repair work keeping with the workers from doing their normal everyday DPW work, it is causing them to go outside of their job scope to keep the fleet running and ready. And we do appreciate them doing that, showing the capabilities of our highway department workers. They're doing a good job for us. As far as trash and brush pickups, the typical duties completed at the same locations around the village, including streets, parks, and municipal lots. And the Christmas trees were also picked up in January. A sewer issue was being repaired on South Avenue. When the water line was struck, both were repaired and inspected. Signs have been repaired and replaced around the village due to the vehicle damage and graffiti issues. Potholes are filled weekly due to the amount of traffic and inclement weather. The multiple snow events. We're still having issues with the new snow ordinance and the parking on the streets. Salting and snow plowing is affected by residents leaving their vehicles on the street. Then they are cleaned off in the street when the roads are clear. We have a problem on West Main Street catch basin lid. The temporary repair on the catch basin lid is due to the resident complaint. State DOT catch basin. The pipe is known to need repair and the catch basin lid is warped from heavy traffic. The catch basin was cleared of the debris and the lid was shimmed. For a dump cleanup, the sander was taken out of a truck during the inclement weather season due to garbage being dumped in the village dump. Garbage, furniture, lumber, etc. Multiple loads of garbage were taken to Royal Carting for disposal. And maintenance and housekeeping is done weekly at the garage to maintain a safe and healthy work environment. So I would say that all of the guys down at the highway department and Sean are doing a fantastic job trying to stay ahead of what they've been given to work with. And I have that, yes.
I just want to ask a question. The light poles that are out, whose responsibility is that to take care of? Central Hudson? You, John?
As they reported to me, I have a direct line to Central Hudson, and I give them the pole number and cross street names.
Because there's quite a few of them, right, going up West Main?
Well, there was a process at one time where the police had a form. Since they're out 24/7, they would give me the information. Or a resident would call me and tell me. That's the only way. I don't ride around, but.
Because the graffiti that was done on the County Players Theater had to have taken an awful long time to do. And
Is there a
this-
street light out over there?
Well, yeah. As far as I know, they're still out.
Well, if nobody tells me, I don't know.
What's Main, I mean, you don't go out at night. You know, I don't.
Yeah, maybe I should start driving around the village at night and see if all the lights are on.
The police department, for that to be a task for them to do?
Huh?
Wouldn't that make sense for the police department to be
Yeah.
tasked with reporting outage?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's.
All I need is a street name and a pole number.
West Main Street, all of them going up the left. Charlie had a nice picture of it on Facebook.
Well, Charlie, did you get any poll numbers by any chance?
Good job, Charlie.
I think they're the antiquity poles that are going up.
I can't call them up and say, West Main Street's got 6 lights
I
out.
have a feeling it's more than likely, just like the whole west side of the street.
Well, that sounds like that could be something more serious than.
Black antiquity poles going up the hill. They're,
Oh, it's.
they got struck or hit or wind plow took them out.
Do you have anyone on your staff that could give me some poll numbers, Commissioner, please?
Not on a pole.
They're not on telephone pole, John, they're the
They're
decorative,
on them black aluminum things.
the decorative light.
Oh, the decorative lights
Yes,
at the
black
village.
antiquity looking poles going up West Main.
I'll look into those. Okay, all right. I got it. I will work on the decorative light post, see how we handle them. I believe they do have numbers. As far as the other ones are concerned, just give me the poll numbers. Please. Thank you. Good point.
Just have one question. Did we skip over finance?
No, they're gonna discuss some items in executive session.
Oh, okay, is that can't be open?
No.
Okay.
If I could, I was gonna wait till after, can I say something since that was brought up? What is the reason, one of the main functions of the board, the main thing we depend on the board for is overseeing the finances of the village. This is where we made our investments, this is where we pay our taxes. I'm glad the highway department, everybody's doing a great job, but the one thing that's the most important to us, the finances, you're going into executive session.
Trustee Marshall?
What's the reason for going into executive session?
The reason is because, I didn't get anything put together from Lori,
Oh, okay.
the treasurer, to present anything because she was busy doing payroll and I wasn't here. I was at doctors in Fishkill, so I didn't make it in today. And then when I did, everybody was in the office, so I kind of.
So this is probably one of the reasons that the New York State Controller said the village board fails to properly oversee village finances, because this is unacceptable. That day before the meeting, you're taking finances into executive session because you don't have the information. That's the whole point of the Attorney General's appointment. The State Controller's
If you look at the Attorney General's complaint.
the State Control, I've looked
It
at it.
wasn't being brought out to the public. That wasn't the complaint, Charlie.
The complaint is,
You gotta look at that complaint.
oh, I've looked at it,
Report, the comptroller's report,
yeah.
it says that the.
Yeah, but the New York-
trustees weren't prepared.
They weren't prepared, and they didn't, you weren't getting the information you need to oversee the finances of the village. Believe me, I know this report. And that still is, obviously that is still, a year after the report, it's still taking place
You're
today,
talking
by
about the audit
by what you just told us.
on a year and 3/4. That's the audit you're talking
Well,
about?
there's a new audit that's
Yeah.
coming out, correct? It should be in process?
Well, I asked for a forensic audit, but I got.
I'm talking about the audit that came out in December of 2023, which said that the board failed to have oversight of fiscal matters in the village.
It's been on for a year and a half.
And it had a list of items that the board should fix. One is getting the financial reports and overseeing the finances of the village. Obviously, that's not being done. You can't take finances into executive session. That's not an executive session thing. Tell me the reason on the exclusions here, that why you're going into executive session. If you got something to talk about in executive section, then you have something to talk about here. What are you going to talk about in executive session?
That's fine, but you have the information. I was always told I had to wait till the end, so I didn't make my comment, but since everyone's talking, I'll make my comment. It seems very excessive, that $90,000 figure or 90+ thousand.
Well, it's actually 46,000.
Okay, well, you said 90.
But if you got the two,
Well, my question would be,
I still
I would like, as a resident, to see what the breakdown is on it. I would like to see what's costing what and how you came to that $90,000. And also, I'd like to see, since we've experienced what we've experienced between June and December, of losing officers, shutting down shifts, where do we stand at this point? I know we used overtime, I know things were done.
the commissioner's
There's plus-
actually looking for police
That's-
officers.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about financially. We have a budget.
Yeah.
We didn't have officers. We didn't have shifts. We didn't, where do we stand? As of January, how are you making this decision based on we can't afford $90,000 to get 3 very needed police officers in the building? How are you making this decision? What exactly is left in the payroll budget?
405.66
Is what's left in the payroll
is
budget?
what's left in payroll, and you got until June 1st, May 31st. So you're about
So I guess the
380,000.
information I would be looking for is what's the shortfall? You're telling us that you can't afford these $90,000.
If you don't want to go over budget, yeah.
By how much? Is it a total of $90,000? You're telling us what it'll cost. If you turn, just let me finish, Bob. I know you're very excited. If you're telling us it's gonna cost $90,000, how much of it, we have to supply our police officers to the end. What's left over for that? Is there $20,000 that can go towards it? Is it $50,000? Are we looking for $10,000? Are we looking for $20,000? That's the information I would like.
It's about 20,000.
How much?
Out of the 405,
What's left?
till June 1st is about, we would pay out 380,000 in payroll to the police officers.
So you're saying out of this.
That's not counting any overtime. That's just their regular schedule. If they work overtime, then the numbers go up.
So what's the consequences of not doing it? We're gonna.
What, working overtime?
No, of not bringing on these officers. We're gonna be in the same situation that we were last year, that we don't have the amount of people to fill the shifts. So thought has to go into this, and sounds to me like the trustees didn't even have the information tonight.
And that's why I wanted to bring this in executive session, but
The thing I'd say,
you guys wanted to hear it, so.
I would like to see officers come up here, like the one from New York City, it's already a police officer, that we don't have to put all these guys through the academy. They're out there, we just gotta reach for them.
Every agency is having the same.
My cousin just became the commissioner of Fishkill. He doesn't need people. I asked him for anybody to send them up this way. They're full. The village is
Salary
full.
competitive, there's a lot of things.
I know, well, you know what happened? Is they upped their salary to $35 an hour.
Job security, right?
Yeah. but how the heck can-
Money better, they can pay their police department.
That's
So
the
actually, if
point.
I could just finish my thought. I would like to know the savings from closing down the shift, getting rid of a full-time officer that made a large amount of money. I'd love to know where that money went to exactly.
So would I. But that's exactly the reports the treasurer is not giving the board, so they can't make those decisions.
That, it just,
Can we have
for you
you
to
come
tell,
to the microphone so we can do this one at a time, please? for you to say, after everything we've been through in the last few months, that there's only $20,000 of that money that's still around?
Yeah, but this just didn't happen. This has been over the last 6 years.
No, you had a budget that started in June.
Yes.
Okay, you had a budget, this isn't 6 years, Bob. You had a budget that started in June. Of that budget that started in June, you had enough money in your line to staff this police department. This police department was not staffed,
Jen
okay?
Hang on a second.
Let me just finish, okay? Come to us with more information as to how much money was saved because it was not, and I don't want to use that word saved because it wasn't staffed. How much money was left over because it wasn't staffed? Where'd it go? How much of it was used in overtime? We want to know where it is. Because for you to come, when we had an officer that basically hasn't worked all year, that had and you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell her, well, it's actually public information.
Yeah.
That's a $100,000 officer that left this building, and now you're telling me that we have $20,000 left to possibly hire new people.
Overtime.
You spent $80,000 in overtime.
Not me.
Okay, where's the rest? Where's the money that from shutting down our police department at midnight for 2.5 months?
It's right. That's it. 405.
We need to see it. We need a report. We need to see it. That's all I'm saying. We need to see it. I'm not even saying it didn't happen, Kevin. I'm not saying it didn't happen. It's hard. It's hard for me to take that all in. That all that money is gone due to overtime when we didn't have a police department at nighttime for how many months. So to ease our minds, I think that you should provide a report from the treasurer that not only informs the rest of you, but informs us as to where that money went, because I'm having a hard time believing that this is.
If I may,
All right.
these are the reasons we want to go into executive session to
That's
discuss
not
and
an
get the.
executive session.
I don't want, you want to have that debate here. This is not public comment right now. I'm not trying to be argumentative.
Not to get the right answer.
I was sitting here very quiet, and everybody else is making comments.
I know, and that's why I'm just trying to.
All I'm saying is information. I might know a little bit more than the average person. And
Right.
I'm telling you, it's not sitting right with me.
And I hear you,
Those numbers aren't adding up.
but we can keep saying that right now. We have to get those numbers to you. That's the point.
For one thing, Jen.
We also have to staff our police
Charlie.
department, so we should know those numbers.
So just one thing, when I talk about overtime, in a part-time department, you don't pay overtime. They just get extra hours, like whatever you're going, it's not like time and a half.
I understand that.
And
It's the full timers that we have. We had full timers that work Christmas time, and some of them made $5,000-$6,000 for the week. For the week.
But that wasn't your fault, it wasn't our fault, that was
That's where the money went. I
work.
mean, that
No,
adds up.
No, it was.
I was
adds
one of
up.
the guys that got taken off the schedule,
Yeah.
That's why.
according to Dutchess County, worked too many hours.
You gotta go by their rules, Jeff.
Yeah, you gotta go by their
make your own
rules.
Okay, so
I
now-
don't make the rules. They make the rules.
I know we want to wait for public comment, so I'll go
Well, this
with
is
this.
public comment now.
I'm asking you to rescind the order that you issued to the commissioner.
I'm not gonna rescind the order.
Why not?
Because we'll be
you wanna
revisiting
hire
it in
officers.
October again.
We just-
I'm not revisiting it.
Let him manage
You know
that.
what? There's an election in 2 months.
Let him manage it.
No.
It shouldn't be you managing the hours, it should be the commissioner. He knows.
If
what
this
his
board
staffing
wants to
is.
vote on it later on tonight when we discuss it,
Will you
we'll
do
vote
that?
on it, but I'm not rescinding it.
Will
If
you
this
do
board
that?
wants to do it, they'll do it.
So asking,
We'll discuss it in executive session.
if I may.
You're hijacking.
This is not an agenda item. This is not an agenda item.
All right, well, I'm sorry if
Yeah,
you feel that
Jeff,
way.
you wanna talk, you gotta come up here. Can you sit down while I'm talking?
Yeah, absolutely, Charlie, not a problem.
I mean, I lost my chain of thought a little bit there, but the other thing I wanted to say is, what Jen is saying about those numbers for the police department is what the numbers we need to have for the entire village. That's what's been missing for years. We don't know how much money we have, what's left in the budget, what the budget was. Those numbers aren't being reported. Your treasurer is not giving them to you. For all this time she's been there, we've not got the numbers. At what point are you going to say, okay, maybe something needs to change? Because those are the most important numbers you can have, and we don't have them. And you can't make decisions without them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, Jen Farrow was taken out of that police budget because she wasn't here for that year. She was taken out of it.
No, she wasn't. She worked up until October. She was paid up until October.
I thought you said her salary was
Her
taken out.
salary was absolutely in
All
that.
right, we gotta move on.
Absolutely.
All right, fire, trustee Marshall.
I got 32 calls for the village of Wappingers. Houstonville had 2. New Hamburg had 16, and Mutual Aid had 13. And that's for the fire department.
Lake,
Lake. We are in the process of signing the contract for year 2 of the lake cleanup. If you live by the lake or you saw the lake weeds were significantly down last year. The products that are being used have been reviewed and are continuing to be reviewed by the State Department of Environmental Conservation, so that it's still safe to fish. That will start once the tidal conditions allow, which will probably be in May, thereabouts. They'll be treated again. It's part of a 3-year plan to not, you didn't see the lake, the weed boat. The weed boat just cuts the things, sends them to the bottom, they rot and get muck. We're trying to kill the lake weeds at their roots. And it's a 3-year project. This is year 2. We had better than expected results last year, quite honestly, because of the weather conditions. We're hoping for the same kind of luck this year. So that's the lake.
safety, the police commissioner found a supplier that will repair, fix, or stop, eliminate the exposure we have in the police department on a safety issue, and that'll clear up the safety inspection we did last month. The next safety inspection will take place in April. That's it. Recreation.
You know what I want to slip in there is the building department. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. The total inspections for the month is 291. The total permits issued is 11. The closed out permits is 7. The total income for the fees and fines is $6,031.31.
All right, thank you for that. I'll make sure I add that into the next agenda as an item for reporting.
Yeah.
Okay. Recreation.
Recreation. We want to give thanks to Lily Chung and the Recreation Committee for decorating the gazebo for the Lunar New Year. Those donations were donated and put up by the Mid-Hudson Valley Chinese Association for the Lunar New Year. So thank you to them. We are also working with the Parks Committee to sign a contract to maintain the ornaments and the lights rather on the holiday tree, so we don't have to keep paying every year for it anew. And that is in the process. And we are also starting to prepare the paperwork for summer camp. We have to do it now to send it to the state and the county so we can get everything ready for the summertime. We're going to be starting that in the near future. I think that's it for recreation.
Water, Mayor.
All right, so the water, we received a grant for the new green sand filters that the water board's been looking into. We received a grant from DWRF, I think it is.
Yeah.
For $3 million. And that's a 100% grant. So we'll be looking into stuff like that.
How much is the water filter project?
I don't know off the top of my head. I have the paperwork upstairs.
Posted the amount of the grant.
Yeah.
It was 3 million. And that was overestimated.
Yeah. I think there's like 4 or 5 filters, or 4 filters, correct? 3?
Personnel.
I just wanted to do a quick plug on
Yeah.
water real quick. If anybody has any concerns, questions, complaints, or even compliments, you can call 845-297-3787. Just, there's 3 of us and we rely on the public. If you have an issue to help. We can't help you if we don't know if there's a problem.
Well, I got something for you. I am also the receiver of complaints. And you guys haven't had any, if that's a plus for you.
I make complaints with the water.
But I have you in my phone already.
Okay, sewer. I attend this Tri-Muni sewer meetings that are held the second Thursday tomorrow down at the plant. There is moratorium on building because they don't have the capacity. So the 3 communities cannot allow for we cannot allow for any new build. And there are a lot of contractors that are just sitting back waiting. for this problem of INI. That's INI is when the water, heavy rains and everything goes into the sewer system and it just overflows the capacity. And you can see that when you see the bar graphs. When you see a heavy rain, Tri-Muni line goes along up with it. So there's a lot of rainwater and illegal water going into that system as well from sump pumps and things like that. I don't know how long this is going to go on, but there are a lot of people holding back, not able to move forward. I mean, some big projects in the town of Wappinger. But that's where we are with it. That concludes.
John, can I didn't say this personnel, I want to mention one thing real quick. I'd like to thank the Personnel Committee and Brian Murphy, because we did hire somebody new as a secretary. Everybody pulled together. We were able to relatively quickly get what we believe is a very capable candidate. We interviewed a number of people, and that's something we need to do to move things along. So I want to thank all the members of the committee for that.
Well, that was a good job and very quick. And I'll tell you, that's a hub of work in that department. There is a ton of work in that department. So that's good news. That concludes the printed portion of tonight's agenda. Mayor, if you wanted to open it up, I think you already did.
I just have a couple of questions. Recreation, 3 years of contract for the lighting of the Christmas tree, is that what you said?
No.
No, the lake.
The lake is a 3-year plan.
No, I'm not talking about the lake, you said something about the Christmas tree, so we
Right.
don't have to.
Right, we put the lights up professionally.
I get
We've,
that.
we put that was in December.
Right.
We've entered into a maintenance contract with the contractor who did that.
And how much is that?
I could not give you that number.
2,500.
Okay, did that go out to bid for like three bids? Did you
No.
get 3 bids on it? Because that wasn't discussed in the meeting that you got the $5,000 when it was approved, okay.
We got 3, I don't know if it was 2 or 3, there may have been only 2 vendors to do it.
Okay.
We did.
Okay, that was one of my questions.
And then, so this new contract, they kept if they were taking the lights down from the tree.
Right.
They would store them for us, and
Right,
put them back
right,
up.
yeah.
That would have been the same cost.
So they just left them there?
5,000 every year.
Just left them up?
So they just left them up,
Okay.
and it's gonna be much less than 5,000.
Oh, okay. And the other thing is that when you go into executive session and discuss as far as the police department is concerned, I just would like for you to take into consideration, I realize that there's a large amount that's needed that upfront money, and if we can take it from somewhere else, because otherwise, there's also such thing as being penny wise and pound foolish. So we can either pay now or we can pay later, in like you said, overtime and things like that. So I just would like for you to consider the fact that it may be a big portion of money that we believe right now, but how will it benefit us in the future? You said $5,000 when one person made it a week, that's the reality of the way it is. And it's also, the other thing that needs to be considered is that's the cost of doing business. And that's the cost of having our own police department, which we all wanted. So, I think that maybe if we can get that money from elsewhere, if possible, and dump it in there, but like Jen said, things just don't seem to be adding up because it just doesn't make sense that when you don't have, you budget for this amount of people, but then you don't have that amount of people that actually worked, and yet we're still almost at a deficit, it seems like. So the numbers aren't jiving for me, I think it makes sense. Doesn't it make sense that the numbers aren't really, and there may be a good reason for that, but when you go to, I guess, when you go to executive session, it looks like you're trying to hide something. And I'm not saying you are, but that's kind of the way it looks to the general public. So, that's just, but like I said, I just don't want you to be penny wise and pound foolish. If we have a couple of officers willing to, to come here and we have to put them through the school and whatever, and it's gonna be $40,000 per officer, is there a commitment that we get from them to maintain a year or whatever?
It would be a commitment, yes.
Yeah, well.
But those are the things we discussed in executive session. A group setting like this is not really nice for having
those sessions. It takes too long to get a point across. That's why we like to go into small groups to discuss all of our options.
The purpose of the executive session is that there are legal matters to be discussed with these issues. And the board will be seeking advice on those matters. It's not just
The
the
only thing I'm
finance.
actually asking is that you just give consideration to the fact of, you know, whether we can pay now or we're gonna end up having to pay later. And whether that be in the form of overtime or a lack of police protection. Either way, we're gonna pay. So,
I just would like to say that when I was on the board years ago, we used to bring all the committees together. And they had their wish list. And then we'd cut it up. Give me 10 pairs of shoes, 2 shovels. And can you live with it? Michael Thomas, yes for the highway.
well, that's the budgeting process.
Yeah, but you have to bring people together. You cannot just take a budget and say, this is yours, this is yours, this is yours. We have to get back to the old ways, like we used to do.
Well, everybody has their wish list. It's up to you people to say no.
Yeah, but it was not done like that.
Well, that's the way it should be done, so.
I know that's the way it's going to be done.
Can I just ask, are we getting any income from the school buses?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard from that in a long time.
You know, the tickets, and we get part of the money back too, some of it comes back to the village, right?
Yeah,
So, we don't know?
we haven't got reports from court.
We need officers out there. We have special details.
Well,
We have special details. We need officers out there. We
Doesn't it
don't have the
depend-
numbers available.
Doesn't it depend on whether it's written under the VTL or the, village code?
Yeah,
All right.
No, to clarify, to clarify the point.
So just one thing, I'll call you back. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Ian.
Clarify the point on the bus tickets. There are 2 different sources of bus tickets. One is from the county. The other is a V&T violation, which the officers would have to write. They are separate issues. Both are being handled within the court system. And that's about as much as I can tell you with regards to how they're being handled in the court system. So,
I don't mean the police department stopping the buses.
yeah, your question's with regard to the county ones.
If you're on the other side of the road and you don't stop,
Correct.
and you get the ticket, and
The
then
county
you get
ticket.
the revenue, part of the
Correct.
revenue from the district.
Yes, to the extent those tickets are prosecuted, there is still revenue being generated. So the answer to the question is yes, there's revenue being generated. The number, I have no idea what that
Village
is. But
receives about $25 for the tickets.
I thought there was cameras on.
One time,
There is.
he got $17,000 one time. Was it last year or the year before?
All right,
We got 17.
not as many tickets now.
Charlie.
Just one thing, this is actually not what I came to, but the police department takes a lot of time in these meetings and a lot of time in the community. There's a lot of turmoil around the police department all the time, so I think maybe really got to take a look at how things are being handled. Why is this happening here? Why is it so bad? There's something in the system that's broken that needs to be fixed. But besides that, I wanted to ask you about a couple of things in this report that came out. The capital infrastructure plan. And so in there it says that there's a youth activities dock project. A new dock was installed to support youth and community events at Wappinger Lake, providing a safe area for water activities and gathering.
We were looking for to put a new dock in.
Okay, so this says that it was done, and
It might be a typo, but we're looking into
that
it.
doesn't, well, okay, so it's a typo, but I don't know if in the capital plan you want to have typos. The other question I had was this capital plan, it doesn't say how long it's for, like usually it would be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It doesn't mention how long the capital plan is for, and it doesn't have any mention of West Main Street in the capital plan. So there's no planned capital improvements on West Main Street for the next foreseeable future that this capital plan is good for. But yet it needs a lot of work, so I don't know why that wasn't put in there. And there's a lot of issues. I know department heads weren't contacted. I know as Parks chairperson, I wasn't contacted about asking my opinion or opinion of what might be some capital projects for parks. And the thing is, when you look at the plan, there's no author listed. It's just that, like, it just starts with us saying who did the work on it. Usually it would be having the beginning of it, this plan was written with the approval of the board, and we talked to the fire chiefs and the police commissioner and all these people, and this is the person who put it together, or the company to put it together. But there's no author listed on this plan. I sent an email out to the board asking who authored the plan, and nobody seems to be able to tell me who authored our capital infrastructure plan.
I worked on that with Lori. We got numbers for some of the stuff on there through the highway super, the old highway super, that one that left, and stuff that would cost for roads and the infrastructure.
Okay, but a capital infrastructure plan, my understanding of it is, it should really be a larger group than just two people laying the plans for the village for the future. The community would want us to say that. The department head certainly wanted to be able to say, hey, I'm going to need a new fire truck in 2 years. You might want to plan for that, but they weren't taught to.
Yeah.
So I don't think this was done the right way, and it's not. I don't know how you get out of it, but it really should be redone.
It really helps us for our bond rating too.
Well, I understand
We
that.
haven't had one, and the previous mayor didn't even do one.
But this is the same. Using this for a bond rating to me is almost like going to a car dealer, buying a car, and not filling the loan application out correctly and saying, hey, look, give us a bond. Look, we have all this going on. We don't have any project. West Main Street's fine. We don't have to pay anything for West Main Street. And I know that was mentioned when it was passed. This is increase our bond rating. That's not the reason you do a capital plan. It's not to
That's
check
just
off.
to raise our bond rating.
It's not just to. It's not. Yeah, but the capital plan. It's an actual document that plans out the future of the village.
Right.
It's not written for a bond rating. It's written to plan out the future of the village, and that's not what it does. It's written for a bond rating. It was written to get a check off a box on the controller's audit because they said one should be done, but it wasn't done correctly. It's really not a useful plan. It was done it was done for the wrong reasons. It has to be done to actually plan the future of the village. So I think you should really look into redoing it because this does have some weight to it. If you go out to now say you want to do something to West Main Street and they say, well, it's not in your infrastructure plan. So it does have consequences what's in here.
Understand.
Okay, thank you.
No. Would you keep playing?
Steve Plank, my 69 East Main Street, my family and I were relatively new in the village. And I kind of wanted to try and add a little bit of positivity to tonight and say that any question that I've ever had for the mayor, he's answered every single one. And it goes for every single person on this board. It goes for the people in the water department, the highway department, the police department. We have no issues with the way things are. And being on the outside, as we are looking in, which it seems like for the most of you, it's completely the opposite, we see a lot of positive things. Everywhere we turn, we see positive things happening in the village. Things seem to be moving in the right direction, and there's a lot of people that care. Some of them are more passionate than others, and they share that, but everybody cares. So the other thing I wanted to say is I wanted to really show my support for Matt Santis and what he's trying to do with the baseball field. Our son, plays travel baseball. We left the town of Wappingers for a reason, like many families and many of his friends have. I used to be a board member there. Their enrollment has fallen from 1,500 to around 350 kids, and there's a reason for that. People are not going back to Wappingers, looking for someplace else to go. And if he's willing to throw in $60,000 or help raise $60,000 of his own money to do something for the kids, whether there's enough kids in the village or not that'll come out that want to play baseball, that has yet to be seen. He has no control over that. But I think it's a really, really good thing, another positive thing for the village of Wappingers. Thanks.
You know what I think? Down the baseball field and make the soccer down by highway.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you again. I'm going to address the 20-hour situation. Mr. Mayor, you issued a directive.
We're talking about that tonight.
I understand that, but please, if I may, it needs to be put out there. Mr. Mosh stated that we have increased activity. Why? Because those officers that were laid off last year have been reinstated, are working. Tickets, unfortunately, they have to be issued. Criminal investigations have to occur, People get arrested because you have personnel here willing to work. There should be no question as to why these three individuals want to come to work here. Put them on the road, put them through the academy, and let's get busy. It shouldn't even be a question, shouldn't even come to it. The other agencies that are in this county are desperately seeking officers. We have people that are coming to us. And if you look at the pay, it's not even close to what other agencies are making, full-time or part-time, but yet they want to come here. Give them the opportunity to do it. It shouldn't even be a question. With the increased activity, it's because we have increased personnel. The traffic summonses, we have an individual that was laid off last year, retired from another agency, is here, and that's what he does. The vehicle and traffic arrests have increased. We want to work. Give us the opportunity to do it. Rescind the 20-hour situation that you've handcuffed, using that analogy, the police commissioner with.
And
rescind the overtime.
And he's bringing it up tonight, and we're discussing it in executive session.
Mr. Mayor, also the overtime situation. You do pay out a lot of money for the full-time officers to work because of the limited availability of the part-time officers that want to work. Give them the opportunity to do it. Let the police commissioner manage his personnel. Let the senior dispatcher manage her personnel. Let the patrol sergeant establish the schedule. You have a computer program that allows us to monitor our hours. We're all adults. We're highly trained professional police officers in a small-time agency with big city situations that occur here. Allow us to work. That's all we're asking for. Before the page gets turned and people don't want to work here, they're either going to go somewhere else, or as with the standard across the country, people do not want to do this job anymore. Be blessed that you have three young individuals that are aspiring police officers, whether we have them for a year or 40 years. That's right, 40 years I've been here. Let's do something, hire these three people, take the handcuffs off the commissioner, take the handcuffs off the senior dispatcher, allow the patrol sergeant to schedule our officers, and let's get busy. Thank you.
Well, because you've been here 40 years, you know, we used to run 25 to 30 part-timers. And
Okay.
We did it with one sergeant, right?
The commissioner's been authorized to hire 12. You've hired 3. Why is it even a question?
Yeah.
There you go. Why is it even a question?
Mayor, I don't blame you for questioning the finances and whether you should hire these officers or not. That's what you're supposed to do, so I appreciate you doing that.
I want to make sure the board's aware.
And I just want to tell you, I just want to make a point, and I know it's not going to be popular, but they talk about investigations and how much time is spent on investigations when it can be done by the state police. You know, you can still do patrol, and we can have a very good agency, putting 2 officers on the road 24/7. And when a crime occurs, call the state police, get the resources of the state police, the full-time agency detectives, all the resources they have in equipment and investigative skills. And then Jeff would be able to go out on the road and patrol rather than spending all those hours doing investigations. And that would take care of a big problem.
He is on the road.
Thank you. Anybody else? Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
I make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.